phone-shaped cutout, but this one takes the takeout container. Yep, that's a phone under the chicken.
Bro. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. We should also not pretend like kids don't talk to each other.
When we were allowed to have our phones, like at lunch, it used to be like really silent and like nobody would talk.
Seniors, Jayla.
Well, what is going on, everybody? It is Kmplxity with a lasting opinion, and I'm bringing you a video of people testing out if kids would do better in school without their phones. Crazy that we needed some sort of a test to figure this thing out, am I right? Like, the obvious question is yes, kids are always going to do better without their phones, without some sort of distraction. Now, I am somebody who can't sit still, and as a kid, trying to learn in class was very difficult for me, especially if the teacher was really boring, but my mind just moves at 1,000 miles an hour, so it's very difficult. But let's go ahead and check this video out.
Bell rings, students at Dunbar High School in Dayton, Ohio, place their phones into these envelopes labeled with their names and grades.
The mornings are just like TSA. Bags, purses, food.
Most Dunbar students have gotten used to the norm, but some still try to sneak in their cell in a hidden pocket.
Man, these kids learning. They got to stop making prison movies and shows. They're learning how to smuggle shit in.
A bag of chips, a book with a phone-shaped cutout, but
what did I just say, bro? What did I just say?
In a hidden pocket. A bag of chips, a book with...
Dude, that book is cut up. Look at that. That book. I'm telling you, if these kids ever get locked up, man, they're gonna know exactly what to do.
The phone-shaped cutout, but this one takes the takeout container. Yep, that's a phone under the chicken.
Bro. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Well, the last two people who seem to have gotten caught were of that were of that color. Jesus Christ.
Language arts teacher and football coach
that's funny.
Is part of the morning check-in crew. Do you have to laugh to yourself sometimes?
Oh, we have a good time. We have a good time. It's fun to me now.
The district leading the charge in a...
I like taking these kids' phones, man. You ever see them cry when they don't have their tiki-talkie or their Faceagram or nothing? Yeah, I love it.
National battle in education to keep phones out of schools, and their mission is spreading like wildfire. Lawmakers in at least 10 states are already introducing or passing bills to ban the devices.
A number of Ohio schools have made the decision to eliminate smartphone use during the school day. And I believe clearly that is the right decision.
I mean, yeah, it reduces a lot of different things. It reduces that stress. I mean, because there is stress that comes in with having social media so readily available to a developing mind. I'm going to be honest, I have no problem with this. Although a ban for it, I mean, I would call it, call it a ban. Honestly, the number one question people are going to be like is, oh, well, what if there's an emergency, right? So if there's like a legitimate emergency, like say a school shooter or something like that, there's absolutely nothing that the parents can really do. Secondly, that does overwhelm, and we've heard it time and time again, when kids and parents are calling all over the place, it overwhelms the phone system and doesn't allow for more important calls to be made and shit like that. So it taxes the call center. Now, if it's a medical thing, I could understand that more. Or if it was like, let's say a personalized emergency, like a medical issue or something happening to someone's family. Like imagine like someone close to you or someone in your immediate family passes and you have no idea about it. Someone's on the way there, or they like tried to contact you about it. You have to go through the entire school day without knowing it. Some might say that's a blessing. Some might say that's a curse, but overall, Absolutely. Like kids should be socializing. They should be doing all these different things to better themselves and spend time developing themselves.
Spanish teacher Essence Wright says it wasn't enough to ask students to keep their phones off or in their backpacks. What is going on with the phones in the classroom before this ban went into effect?
Constant notifications. Constant notifications.
What does that do to learning?
It interrupts the whole process. It really does.
If now you have to address it, or you need to have an administrative moment in your classroom that could have all been avoided if it didn't even exist.
And now,
And that is a thing too, right? Because if it's banned at the beginning of the day, like parents are obviously always gonna, majority of the time they take the side of their kids. They're not gonna turn around and be like, oh, you know, it was a good thing that you took the phone from the kid or something. Yeah, you just never know. But the other thing about it is that teachers don't have staff and faculty. They don't have the ability to put their hands on these kids, like to take away a phone, right? To like wrestle with them or some shit. So banning it at the start means that you're taking away that possible confrontation there, and that possibility of that kid acting out because of this thing.
it doesn't. Students don't have their phones from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. when school is dismissed. Hear that? It's the sound of students at lunch talking to each other and playing games.
Okay, well, let's not pretend like phones completely take away people's ability to talk. Like, yes, I did say that to socialize and ish like that, but I'm talking about like outside, just not, more so outside of school and in school too. But yeah, they shouldn't be so developed into their phone or I guess, overwhelmed by what's on a screen. But we should also not pretend like kids don't talk to each other.
When we were allowed to have our phones, like at lunch, it used to be like really silent and like nobody would talk. So,
Seniors Jayla.
Well, damn.
DeAndre and Rayvon, along with freshman Moses, say they understand the reasons for the cell phone ban. Raise your hand if your parents would say you are addicted to your phones.
that's all she say.
Yeah,
Do you think your mental health is stronger because of this cell phone ban?
definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
of
it
course.
doesn't mean they always liked it.
Like I'm always used to it, having it in my pocket, so for it to be taken away, it's like losing a limb.
You weren't happy in the beginning. Now it's been almost a full school year. Has your perspective changed, and how?
At first, I didn't see like the reason for them taking our phones, but at the time it's passed, I've seen like the benefits from it, or how much of an effect it's had in classrooms and behaviors.
New data out of Norway reinforces what educators call common sense after examining middle schools with
But that's fair. That's what I'm saying. Like, you really had to do this whole study on whether or not taking away a distraction from learning is going to like fix the problem of kids not learning. Like, come on. Like, you really needed to study. Like, that's like saying we need a study to tell if people overeating will make them fat. Like, come on, or over drinking means you're an alcoholic. Like, come on.
phone bans across the country. Researchers found that students saw higher GPAs, fewer mental health consultations, and more than a 40% decrease in bullying incidents.
Which makes sense too, because I mean, how many times like do it for the gram, do it for the Vine, when freaking Live Leak was all the rage, people were trying to get on it to the front page, try and be the #1 video. And it also does the 40% decrease in bullying. It could also just simply be, you have to factor into effect that it could also be that it's just not being caught anymore as well. So you have to take that into consideration, because let's say what happens if somebody does end up getting hurt or into a fight or something like that, and there's no evidence other than like eyewitnesses, and those can't always be reliable because some people might not want to say anything. But if they had their phone confiscated and they recorded it, well, then there would be nothing that, they wouldn't have to talk. They could be a part, and they'd also probably catch a charge, which would be, knocked down to a misdemeanor, most likely. But anyways.
Some parents worry about not being able to reach their kids in an emergency. David Lawrence is the Dayton Public Schools superintendent. When parents who push back and say there's an emergency, I need to reach my child during the day, what do you say?
I say that there have been emergencies throughout the history of school. We've always done a good job of being able to prepare for emergencies and then contact parents in a way that's meaningful.
No plan survives contact with the enemy. Everybody has a strategy until they get punched in their face. Yes, that it is true that there have been emergencies prior to cell phones in schools. Now, how did those go? Like, the fact that a teacher, if somebody was to like stab another, like a kid stabbed another kid, the fact that a teacher could just pull out her phone or a kid could just pull out their phone and call 911 is a massive improvement. Okay, let's not fake it, right? Okay. Secondly, what happens if a school shooting starts and it's like it's nowhere near any faculty members, but it is around the kids, and there's a kid hiding in a bathroom or something like that, and they don't have the ability to call anyone to say anything, right? Obviously, these are exceptions to the rule. They're not the rule itself. We can't judge it based off of the well, I don't want to say the low likelihood, because it's increased over the years now, but those are the extreme times, right? So I do understand, but at the same time, schools are also known for not paying attention. I mean, not paying attention to bullying, which has led to an increase in teenager suicide, pill problems, drug abuse, alcohol abuse within itself. And then on top of that too, what if your kid gets sick and all of a sudden they're given a Tylenol and told to sit down for a little bit, these reasons right here are more often than not, right? And so your parent is always, what if your kid gets sick and your parent is like, okay, no, let me take them because they have a history of this, history of getting sick or something, or they have immune disease, some sort of thing or an issue of that nature, right? I, as a parent, I don't care if my kid is like just having a sore throat and the sniffles, when I'm a parent, I would be like, yes, at least call me to let me know, right? And tell me. Because here's the thing. What if that cough and sniffles throughout the day turns into like the fever or something by the end of the day, and then the kid gets to the house and it's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, there's push and pull, and I believe that the way to curve those issues is to increase faculty responsibilities in those areas, right? Like a mandatory call or something like that, or just a mandatory informative call. Could parents overreact and take their kids out of school just to, whatever? Yeah, absolutely they can. But that's better, in my personal opinion, for a parent to overreact about a illness versus a school to underreact about an illness.
Meaningful and pretty swift based on the emergency.
It looks pretty low tech what you're doing.
It is an envelope. You can buy them at a convenience store. And so you put them in an envelope, store them, and then give them back. It's really easy.
What would be your advice to other school leaders who are watching this and wondering if they should implement this in their school?
I would say that it's cost effective, quick, simple, and easy.
I mean, cost effective? Is it? Technically, you're spending more money to stop the kids from having phones than to not, considering you have to buy the envelope. So you spent more money in an effort to not have the kids have their phones than if they just had their phones. I mean, you're not wrong. It is cost effective, but it's also free to not put them in an envelope. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being special.
7 hours of phone-free time might be the best thing that's happened to education in a long time.
They are actually being children. That's exactly what we want them.
I mean, development, freaking, all, learning about gravity equals MC square. But phones not being in classroom. No, that's probably the best thing that's happened to learning in who knows how long. Mission to Mars, fuck that.
Them to be. These are the last years of their childhood, and we want them to live them.
Giant Uno. Think about the last years of their childhood. That's such an important.
That's good. That's good for, it's good that this is being implemented and that there are a lot of states that are wanting this to happen. I don't think that this is bad at all. I think that this is great. I do believe that there should be some things. I don't know every single school district, so don't come at me. But I think that it's great that this is something that's occurring. You know, you're no longer allowed to basically have your face in a screen throughout the entire day. Does that mean that the kids are going to pay attention more? There's a higher likelihood of it, but this is awesome. And I think that more school districts, I think all school districts in the state should in some way, shape, or form implement this. This is awesome. But that's enough of me, you guys. I've been Kmplxity, the lasting opinion. You guys have a wonderful evening, morning, noon, night, whatever it might be. Enjoy.
Chaos brews inside the room. Voices of contention blooms. The king's eyes filled with boiling rage. Zeph steps up to the high stage. Explode the silence, break the chains. Never been a better name in the game. In this blood cast fiery flame, words like bullets in your brain.